Hello there, thanks for joining me this Friday on 7Edition. I'm Sabrina Zainal and these are tonight's top stories. Malaysia to withdraw from Rome Statute. Tabung Haji announces 1.25% hibah for financial year 2018. And mental health test ordered for New Zealand mosque's shooting suspect. We begin with this story. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said Malaysia will withdraw from the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, ICC, due to political confusion. He added the decision not to ratify the Rome Statute was not because it was harmful to the country or due to fears of government leaders being prosecuted. Speaking during a press conference in Putrajaya, Tun Dr. Mahathir stated the decision was made collectively by the cabinet at its meeting today. The Premier also said Malaysia, which acceded to the Rome Statute on March 4th, can withdraw before June this year.
Kita dapat maklumat tentang usaha ini. Usaha untuk melibatkan raja-raja supaya menentang kerajaan. Khususnya menentang Perdana Menteri. Sebab itu kita perlu jelaskan usaha ini kerana saya dapati ramai yang tak faham isu ini. Mereka tak faham apa dianya Statute of Rome. If we cannot go to war, are we going to go to war? Are we going to commit genocide? Are we taking away human rights? I don't see anything being done. What they are saying is that if we sign this Statute of Rome, we will lose our independence. Our independence to form kita punya own policies, dasar-dasar kita, dan kita punya undang-undang di negara. Ini tidak benar. Yang benar ialah kalau kita keterlaluan membuat sesuatu yang dianggap amat buruk sekali, barulah Statute of Rome will be applied to us.
The ICC was established in 2002 and governed by the Rome Statute. It is the first permanent treaty-based international criminal court which would prosecute perpetrators of genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity and aggression. On March 4th, Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah signed the instrument of accession to the Rome Statute of the ICC. The instrument was deposited with the Secretary-General of the United Nations on the same day. Now, Malaysia's pilgrimage fund, Tabung Haji, TH, today announced its hibah or dividend at 1.25%, the lowest in history, amounting to 913 million ringgit for all its depositors for the financial year 2018. The hibah is 66% lower compared to 6.25% in 2017. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Sri Mujahid Yusof Rawa, said the low hibah is the result of problems left behind by the previous administration under Barisan Nasional. He also asked for the public's understanding of TH's current predicament and hopes to allocate better dividends post-restructuring.
Tabung haji akan kembali kepada landasannya yang asal, memenuhi kehendak yang ada di dalam Akta Tabung Haji bagi memastikan kebajikan para bakal jemaah haji dan perjalanan haji itu berjalan dengan lancar tanpa berlaku apa-apa penyelewengan dari sudut keuangan.
Datuk Sri Mujahid, who announced the hibah at a press conference today, said the government will allocate 500 million ringgit next year for the restructuring of TH and subsequently 1.73 billion ringgit per year until all its sukuk are redeemed. Total allocation for the 10 years is estimated at 17.8 billion ringgit. Now, the Employees Provident Fund, EPF, has credited a payment totaling 9.51 million ringgit into the accounts of the Caruman Sukarela Aisuri members for 2018. In a statement, EPF said the amount refers to the government-approved 40 ringgit monthly incentive credited into the accounts of 49,857 Aisuri account holders who have made a minimum of 5 ringgit contribution on a monthly basis. Now, the retirement fund said members of Aisuri can check their accounts online via EPF kiosks or at any EPF counters nationwide starting today. The EPF also encouraged more housewives or female heads of households whose profiles are in the National Database on Poverty, IKASE, to register for Aisuri. It also said that members could contribute a minimum of 5 ringgit on a monthly basis into the retirement savings account to be eligible to receive the government incentive of 40 ringgit per month. Moving on, e-hailing ride drivers are urging the government to extend the July 12th deadline for them to register for the Public Service Vehicle PSV license similar to taxi drivers. On top of the tight deadline, they say delays and confusion over the module's availability may result in many drivers being disqualified for the service, ultimately pushing fares to go up due to a mismatch in supply and demand. With an estimated 200,000 e-hailing drivers in the country and an insufficient number of PSV trainers, the drivers just don't see how the deadline can be met. A representative of e-hailing provider Decentralized Alternative Cab Serving and Empowering Everyone, DACC, Muhammad Faizul Azmin, said that e-hailing drivers are the ones who make the system work. If there are fewer of them on the road during peak hours due to failure to obtain the PSV license, the waiting time will be much longer and the fares will surely go up. On April 3rd, Road Transport Department JPJ Director General Datuk Sri Shaharuddin Khalid said that 4 of the nation's estimated 30 to 35 registered e-hailing companies were authorized to manage their own PSV training facilities, including DACC and Grab. The PSV module was only made available at 211 driving academies and e-hailing centers on April 1st, when Transport Minister Anthony Loke had actually stressed the need for e-hailing drivers to obtain PSV licenses since the first week of January this year. Over in Selangor, police detained 26 Chinese nationals, including 4 women, believed to be members of an online gambling syndicate during a raid at a double-story bungalow in Ampang today. State Deputy CID Chief ACP Muhammad Abdul Hamid said the suspects, aged between 21 and 43, were arrested in an operation which began at about 9:30 a.m.
Terlihat bahawa pelanggan-pelanggan ini berpeluang untuk berjudi dalam tempoh 1 jam, dalam tempoh 1 hari sebanyak 800 kali. Kerana ianya merupakan WeChat Canada 24 dan juga WeChat Beijing 28 yang menawarkan perjudian bagi setiap 3 minit. Ini bermakna mereka boleh melakukan perjudian atau bermain judi dalam tempoh 1 hari sebanyak 800 kali.
He added police also seized 329 mobile phones, 3 laptops, and a desktop computer believed to have been used to promote online gambling to players in China. It was believed the syndicate had been operating since the last 2 months and had been advertising in several websites and WeChat to attract customers. The case is being investigated under the Common Gaming Houses Act. Some 150 illegal immigrants were detained in an immigration department operation at the Selayang Wet Market this morning. The illegals of various nationalities, including women, were rounded up under the operation codenamed Ops Bersepadu, which started at 5 in the morning.
Di dalam operasi ini, seramai 150 orang warga asing telah diperiksa dan daripada ini didapati bahawa 79 daripada mereka adalah warga asing yang memegang kad UNHCR dan selebihnya adalah warga asing yang didapati melakukan kesalahan sama ada tidak memiliki dokumen ataupun menyalahgunakan dokumen perjalanan mereka.
Among those arrested were from Indonesia, Myanmar, India and Bangladesh who were either traders or workers at the market. The Immigration Department's 94-man team also targeted employers who knowingly hired the undocumented immigrants. Since January, the department has arrested a total of 930 illegal immigrants through various raids at wet markets, night markets, and business premises. In other news, a sales executive claimed trial at the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court for allegedly accepting a bribe as an inducement to produce a fake diploma from a private university. C. Wijayakumar is accused of receiving a 3,500 ringgit bribe from Muhammad Amir Safwan Rosli in Bandar Sri Damansara on January 18th last year. This was in exchange for a diploma in business administration from a private university without the person having to go through proper education procedures. He was charged under the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Act, which provides a jail term of up to 20 years and a fine of not less than 5 times the sum of the gratification or 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher upon conviction. Judge Azman Ahmad allowed bail of 3,500 ringgit with one surety pending remention of the case on April 9th. Meanwhile, a man has been remanded to assist investigations in a case in which he allegedly caused injury on his father by beating him up at a house in Temerloh, Pahang yesterday. The 4-day remand order beginning today was issued by Temerloh Court Assistant Registrar Hayatul Hafifi Hisham. In the 5:45 p.m. incident at Kampung Labu, Kuala Krau, the 54-year-old victim was quarreling with his wife before the suspect allegedly punched the victim and stepped on him. The suspect was also alleged to have hit the victim on his head with a steel rod. He was then arrested at his home a few hours after the incident. Initial investigations found that the victim had just returned from his palm oil plantation and had asked his wife for a drink before the quarrel took place. The case is being investigated under Section 324 of the Penal Code. Now, this dashboard camera footage coming up next of a pedestrian being hit by a car may be gripping, but it should also serve as a reminder that there's a reason why jaywalking is illegal. The pedestrian is believed to have sustained injuries to her hands and legs in the accident that took place at Jalan Tun Abdul Raza in Kota Kinabalu. District Police Chief ACP Habibi Majinji said the accident occurred at about 7:46 a.m. today and was recorded by another driver who was on the same road. The victim was seen crossing the road as traffic came to a stop, not realizing a moving vehicle on the rightmost lane. Footage showed the girl being flung to the ground after a white Produa Myvi hit her, sending her cap and shoes flying from the impact. The driver was driving from Petagas heading towards Kota Kinabalu when the accident occurred. The victim is now receiving treatment at Queen Elizabeth Hospital, and the case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. When we return, Malaysia #1 in the world for consuming illegal cigarettes. The details next. Thanks for staying with us. The Election Commission EC has fixed May 11th for the Sandakan parliamentary by-election with early voting on May 7th and nomination on April 27th. The decision was made at the Special Election Commission meeting this morning. EC Chairman Azhar Azizan Harun at a press conference in Putrajaya today said the by-election is expected to cost 3.1 million ringgit.
Dengan itu, tempoh berkempen yang ditetapkan adalah 14 hari bermula selepas pengisytiharan calon sehingga pukul 11.59 malam 10 hari bulan Mei 2019. Bagi urusan permohonan undi pos luar negara dan dalam negara pula, tarikh buka dan tarikh tutup permohonan adalah seperti berikut. Tarikh buka 5 April 2019 hari ini. Tarikh tutup 25 April 2019.
Sandakan Municipal Council Deputy President Muhammad Hamsan Awang Supain has been appointed as the Sandakan by-election managing officer to be assisted by 5 assistant managing officers. 21 voting centres with 92 channels will be used for voting facilities for 40,131 eligible voters based on the 2018 Master Electoral Roll, which was updated as at March 28th. A 70% voter turnout is targeted, with the EC expected to carry out its Let's Vote campaign through various media channels. The EC has also made improvements to the electoral roll registration book, where one page will be reduced from 50 to 30 names, aimed at easing the checking process by voting clerks and agents at polling centres. The by-election is necessitated following the death of the incumbent Datuk Stephen Wong Tien Phat on March 28th due to a heart attack. Meanwhile, Sabah is expected to record the highest number of members in Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia and become the party's stronghold ahead of the 15th general election. This based on the people's acceptance of Bersatu, who are mostly demanding for change, particularly concerning integrity and transparency in the state government's administration. According to the State Bersatu Coordinator, Datuk Muhammad Rafiq Naiza Mohidin, apart from the 5 MPs and 9 assemblymen who left UMNO, more elected representatives who have announced their exit from the party will be receiving their membership cards tomorrow. Now, the question on everyone's mind is, who will be given the mandate to become Sabah Bersatu chairman? Among the names that have been mentioned are Sulaman Assemblyman Datuk Sri Hajiji Muhammad Noor, Kimanis Member of Parliament Datuk Sri Anifah Aman, and Datuk Sri Lajim Ukin, who dissolved Parti Harapan Rakyat Sabah and brought along its 64,000 members into Bersatu. There have also been no promises to the 21 UMNO divisional heads who announced their departure from the party to become Bersatu chiefs at their respective divisions. Tomorrow, Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, who is also Bersatu chairman, will officially launch the state's Bersatu chapter in Penampang, where more surprises are expected, including whether or not Datuk Sri Saleh Said Kerwa and Tan Sri Pandikar Amin Mulia will be accepted into Bersatu or not. A Malaysian kidnap victim was reported to have been shot during a firefight between the Philippine security forces and Abu Sayyaf militants in Sulu province yesterday. He had been airlifted using a Philippines Army helicopter and brought to a hospital in Jolo for treatment. Now, according to Mindanao-based news portal Minda News, fisherman Jari Abdullah, 43, was found in critical condition by the Philippines Marine Battalion at 4:25 p.m. after the militants withdrew. The news portal added Jari was shot while trying to escape from his Abu Sayyaf captors, who were engaged in a 15-minute exchange of fire with the Marines. The Abu Sayyaf militants were believed to have been led by one of its leaders, Najir Arik, during the shootout on Simusa Island near Sulu. Jari's wife, Nadine Junianti Najiri, aged 25, said she only knew about the incident when contacted by the New Straits Times and expressed hope that Jari would recover soon. ESCOM Commander Datuk Hazani Ghazali said the agency has yet to receive any information on the matter but would check with their counterparts in the Philippines for updates with regards to the Malaysian victim. Jari and 2 Indonesian fishermen, Hari Ardiansyah and Haryadin, aged 19 and 45, were kidnapped by gunmen in the Pegasus Reef around Kinabatangan Lahad Datu area on December 5th last year. Congratulations, Malaysia is #1 in the world for consuming illegal cigarettes. Now, it's not something we should be proud of because, according to a recent study, a whopping 58.9% of cigarettes sold in Malaysia are illegal, which represents approximately 12 billion sticks, an increase of 3.3% from 2017. And due to this, the government has been urged to suspend tax on cigarettes for the next 3 years as a key measure to counter the sale of illegal cigarettes. The Illicit Cigarette Study 2018 ICS shows that illegal cigarette sales are most widespread in Sabah, Sarawak, Pahang, Kelantan, and Terengganu. The study was based on a total of 153,000 discarded cigarette packs collected from the streets and rubbish bins across the country throughout the year. Of the illegal cigarette packs, 91% did not have tax stamps, while the remaining bore fake tax stamps. JT International Berhad, JTI Malaysia Managing Director Cormac O'Rourke, said the growth and sale of illicit cigarettes was due to the excessive increases in tobacco excise duties and cigarette prices over the years, as well as insufficient enforcement in detecting and fighting the sale of contrabands. Under the law, tobacco companies must increase cigarette prices by the same time as the excise duty increase. This means that tobacco companies cannot absorb excise duty hikes. Thus, he is calling for an excise moratorium for the next 3 years to prevent the price shocks which lead smokers to purchase illegal cigarettes. He added that illegal cigarette sale has caused the country to lose up to 5 billion ringgit in uncollected tax revenues, and these losses look set to continue. And now let's hop onto our daily segment Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Being around tobacco smoke is bad. However, no one would expect that it could also turn violent. Recently, at a coffee shop in Geylang, an argument over secondhand cigarette smoke left 2 men bloodied. This happened when one of the injured individuals attacked the other person with a 30-centimeter saw because he got annoyed with the smoker. It all started when the 51-year-old bald man voiced out his dissatisfaction to the 53-year-old man who was puffing away near him. A witness claimed there was already tension between the 2 men as the smoker had been using crude language prior to that incident. Despite admonishing the older person for a second time, the smoker was still not bothered, and this made the bald man feel more exasperated. He then left the scene for a moment and suddenly emerged with a long saw and began attacking the smoker. Several bystanders then intervened and managed to hold down the attacker. One of them also had a gash on his cheek and a blood-stained towel over his shoulder. The bald man also suffered a cut on his head, while the smoker sustained injuries to his head and ear. And now updated as of 7 p.m., here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. Samsung Electronics on Friday released the Galaxy S10 5G, the world's first available smartphone with built-in 5th-generation communications technology. South Korea's 3 mobile carriers, SK Telecom, KT, and LG U+, held launch events across Seoul for the Galaxy S10, whose base version costs approximately $1,200.
한국이 또 세계 최초라고 하니까 다른 곳보다 먼저 안정화되고 정착될 거라고 생각하고 있습니다.
틈틈이 영상 콘텐츠를 많이 보는 편이거든요. 영화 보기도 하고 강의를 듣기도 하고. 근데 이렇게 특히 밖에서 영상 볼 때 속도가 끊기면 사실 좀 힘들거든요. 근데 아무래도 속도가 빠르면 조금 더 시간을 잘 활용할 수 있게 되지 않을까 생각합니다.
Interactive virtual reality displays and robot demonstrations were also on show to tout the capabilities of the latest iteration of mobile internet speed. The implications of the 5G technology have pitted Washington against Beijing, whose firms dominate 5G technology in an increasingly bitter standoff. According to data analysis firm iPlytics, Chinese entities own a total of 3,400 5G patents, with 1,529 of those registered by Huawei. South Korea comes next, with its companies holding 2,051 patents, while U.S. firms have 1,368 together. When we return, Seoul declares national state of emergency. Stay with us. We're back with world news. An enormous forest fire erupted Thursday in the South Korean border town of Goseong in Seoul, leaving at least 2 dead and 11 others injured. The monstrous blaze, which forced nearly 4,000 people to evacuate the area, has prompted the government to declare a state of national disaster. Strong winds fanned the flames in the town, located in mountainous northeastern Gangwon province near the frontier with North Korea, which incinerated about 400 homes and 500 hectares of land. About 900 fire engines and over 20,000 personnel, along with helicopters, were dispatched to tackle the deadly inferno. Authorities reported the main fire has been brought under control, but added that others were still burning. As the central government has declared a state of national disaster, it entitles affected areas to special assistance, including goods and equipment, and banning entry to dangerous zones. President Moon Jae-in told officials to take all measures necessary to battle the inferno and to liaise with North Korean authorities if the fire approaches the border. The last time Seoul made such a declaration was in 2007, when a crude oil carrier leaked thousands of tons of oil into the sea off the west coast. In the meantime, a New Zealand judge today has ordered the gunman in the Christchurch Mosque's massacre to undergo a mental health assessment to determine if he is fit to face trial for the murder of 50 Muslim congregation. During a brief hearing in Christchurch, High Court Judge Cameron Mander ruled the accused, Brenton Tarrant, to be seen by 2 health assessors to determine whether he is fit to stand trial or is insane. Tarrant appeared by audiovisual link from Auckland, where he is being held in isolation in a maximum security prison following the deadliest mass shooting in modern New Zealand history. The 28-year-old Australian is facing 50 murder and 39 attempted murder charges over the March 15th attacks on 2 mosques. The suspect, a self-avowed white supremacist, sat motionless throughout the hearing. He was not required to enter a plea and was remanded in custody until his next court appearance on June 14th. Meanwhile, Brexit is set for another delay. Prime Minister Theresa May asked the European Union, EU, on Friday to push the date of Britain's departure from the bloc to June 30th, with the extension ending earlier if Parliament approves her Brexit deal. May also told EU Council President Donald Tusk in a formal letter that Britain would start preparing for its participation in European Parliament elections in case it is still a member of the bloc when they begin on May 23rd. In her letter, May said she wanted to make sure that Britain left the bloc after 46 years in an orderly manner, with an agreement that could help unwind intricate political, security, diplomatic and economic ties. Downing Street released May's request moments after a senior EU official said Tusk was proposing to postpone Brexit Day by up to a year, also pending Parliament's approval of the EU-UK withdrawal agreement. The current deadline is April 12th, which has already been pushed back once from March 29th due to the UK Parliament's 3-time failure to ratify the deal May signed with the other 27 EU leaders in December.